In 3, 2, it's already rolling up.
This is the Discovery Show. I'm your host, your boy Pete.
I'm Alec.
And today we are here in the Strange Oasis studio with a Madison producer. He's done a lot of work with artists from around the Midwest and in Madison. So everybody introduce Mr. Chris LaBella.
What's up?
Oh, Chris. We have an audience of one right now. So let's just kind of get into it right away. As you were coming up as a producer, kind of where did you get your beginnings?
Alright, so Diamonds from Sierra Leone is definitely a song that changed my life. I had really liked hip hop as a kid, but then kind of stopped listening to it as much for a while and got into really classic rock and stuff. And then I heard that song and then it got me really back into hip hop.
What about that song was so?
There's just so much energy in the beat and the whole thing is just everything is moving the whole time. And I just listened to that the other day. That's why I'm okay, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm here. And yeah, and then I started working on Free Loops, and used that for a couple of years, and my computer died, and I got a Mac instead, so I used Logic for a while. Then I started going to school for music, dropped out of UW and went to MMI, and then so I started using Pro Tools.
Where's MMI at?
Madison Media.
Okay, gotcha.
We're hitting hard in Madison.
And then, so I started using Pro Tools there and stuff, and then after I graduated there, I started using Machine to produce, so now I'm using Machine and then mixing and all that in Pro Tools. But yeah, a lot of, I don't know, the whole journey is just a journey of growth, definitely, progressing different sounds using, I don't know, I'd definitely say my sound has evolved a lot over the last 10 years or so that I've been producing. So.
In what ways would you say it's evolved?
I mean, when I started making music in general, I was doing a lot of just acoustic guitar stuff. And then I started making beats to just make drums for more rock oriented songs. But then I got into making beats because it was a whole just thing on its own, right? So then I was doing a lot of sampling, and just making full tracks out of that and being satisfied with the thing this time. And then recently, the last couple of years, I've done a lot more of just complete organic instruments, and no sampling really. Yeah, I don't know, just everything that I learn, everything just kind of accumulates upon itself and forms different ideas and stuff. I don't know.
So how is kind of, I guess now we see the Madison music scene, especially hip hop, blowing up. How has that kind of helped your, I guess, production career?
Yeah, that's definitely helped. Working with artists like Rashawn and Trapo has definitely gotten a lot more people to take notice of things. Well, for one thing, I used to produce under a different name.
Okay.
What was it?
Frequency.
Okay.
Did you not want to get confused with the venue, the Frequency? Or?
Well, yeah, that was part of it, and I don't know, I just started putting out my own music, so I just used my own name. So I went through a little rebranding, but nobody really paid attention to what I was doing back then. But now I have people that are oh man, you used to be Frequency. I used to listen to your beats all the time. Man. But so that a little bit of rebranding, and then yeah, definitely working with Trapo obviously was a big springboard to work with a lot of other artists beyond Madison as well, because a lot of people really like Shade Trees.
How was that process for you?
So that was super organic. The way I even I had been doing this showcase this event series called Secret Sauce, at this location in Madison.
It's secret.
And for the third one, I got Trapo on the bill, and we had 300 some people there, but then it got shut down. before, like halfway through the show. So that's like the first time I actually even like met Trapo. And then like a couple weeks later, Rashawn was over recording, and Trapo came through for a little bit just to meet up with him, and he really likes the beat that we were making for Rashawn, or right now we're making for Rashawn at the time. So he was like, "Yo, I gotta come back and get some beats," and then yeah, we just started working on music, and things just like flowed from there. And then he wanted me to mix the whole project, so then we there was a lot of like basically what he had when he brought it to me was like a good mixtape. Then like we took a few months of like really diving into everything and doing all the transitions and making it a whole like album. So yeah.
So he went from just liking a beat to letting you do the whole album?
Basically.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive. That's quite the transition.
Yeah.
But when you talk about your studio, so it's Blue Dream Studio, correct?
Yeah.
And from what I've read, there's rumors around it, and that name comes from the lighting in the room. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, name comes from / was designed for the name. I mean, it's like I don't know, when I was setting up the studio, I was just doing a lot of research into like, you know, creating a good atmosphere, and I read somewhere that the color blue is the best for creativity, because we associate it with the sky and like openness. So I just decided to paint the walls blue. And then I made all my own like sound absorption stuff, and made those all like white, so they were like clouds. And then I got a lot of cool lights to put in there too. So it's all part of the
So you had it backwards.
other way around.
Yeah, it's kind of like what came first, the chicken or the egg.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's not get into that debate. So currently you're working a lot with Rashawn, correct?
Yeah, right now we're working on a project called Somewhere From Nowhere, aiming to release it in like April. Don't quote me on that.
It's on camera now.
Yeah, we got a lot of really, really good material in the works. It's completely just me and him. We might have a couple features. But yeah, it's definitely, I feel like it's, I'm personally more excited for it than I was for Shade Trees, and I was really excited for Shade Trees. Partially just because like, this is like just 50-50 me and him, like it's a whole project.
Mm-hmm.
But also because I feel like it's some of the best work I've done, and some of the best work he's doing. And it's definitely going to be a wide range of sounds, but within a similar vein. And I feel like it's going to be a little more like mainstream than Shade Trees was. So if we can do the good work with distribution and publishing and everything, I feel like it'll go pretty far.
What is that process like? You know, you've done it with Trapo and now Rashawn, of going through a whole project with just somebody else. You know, how much are you guys around each other in the production of it? Do you get too much of each other?
Yeah, a little bit sometimes. No, working with Trapo and Rashawn are definitely like they have a lot of similarities. They're definitely very different in a lot of ways too. Like working with Trapo, like he would come in and he'd have all his stuff written and everything, or he wouldn't, and we'd be working on a beat and he would just be like sitting in the back and not really saying much. And then 15 minutes later, they're like, I'm ready, and they lay some down and it'd be golden. Alright, dope. And then like we'd fuck around the beat and he'd be like, oh, that's dope. Like everything we would do, he was just like, yeah, that's dope. So that's another thing, like that is one thing they have in common, both Trapo and Rashawn. Like almost everything that we do, like any beat that I pull up, like I can have beats that I'm like, this is like, this, I kind of think it's ass, and then Rashawn, like, he'll start singing to something, and it's like, okay, like, this could actually go somewhere. Like, it's like, almost everything I pull up, they're like, oh yeah, this is dope, let's work on it. Versus, like, some artists, like, it's like pulling teeth trying to find the sound that they actually, like, want. Like, they have something in their head, but they don't know how to describe it necessarily, and it's just like, And then
Seems like a
eventually it's
Kanye
just like,
thing.
oh man, it's like, yeah.
It would certainly make it a lot easier if they can just hear the beat and work with the beat instead of you having to work with them.
Yeah. And so, yeah, there's definitely, working with Sean, he's much more social, much more, there's a lot more laughs and stuff with Rashawn. I definitely say we're a little bit tighter, and because it's like all my beats and all his vocals, and I'm doing a lot of the arranging and like editing of his lyrics and stuff with him too. It's like it's much more of like I have much more investment in this than I did just like mixing half the songs and like producing a third of the songs of Shade Trees.
Yeah, it seems like you guys are really halvesies on this.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's definitely like I said, much more personally invested in this project. So,
Have you done any writing as far as it goes with Rashawn?
I mean, yeah, there's definitely a handful of lines in there that I've like was like, nah, I think you should like switch it around, do something like this, blah blah blah, and end up going with that. But as far as like, he does most of his own writing, and then if I think that it's like just kind of not up to par of what he could do, I'll tell him.
You're more of an editor than a writer.
Yeah,
You're just tweaking things.
Yeah, I mean, like I have my
You're
own,
the English teacher.
music and stuff too. But as far as like this project, there hasn't been like my input lyrically as much. I've just been staying focused on the music and the arrangement and everything. But definitely a lot of input on the themes and the title and the whole the branding and everything of it. So.
What do you prefer to have, kind of more on the production side, or do you like having your hand more in the writing?
I mean, I like writing. I like performing, but the music just comes a lot easier than words. Words are hard because like there's a lot more pressure that I put on myself when writing lyrics to be like really on point or whatever. And that's one thing I kind of admire about Rashawn, and this isn't a knock about him at all, but like he just doesn't really think when he thinks, but like he just kind of flows and just like lets some stuff out, and it's not always like super original or super great at first, but once we have the ideas out there, then we can go back and edit it, and that's where the real creativity happens. And I have a kind of a stigma of like not getting past like not getting the first lines down.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, like
That pressure.
So I definitely feel like I can flow a lot more with the music, and there's a lot less pressure of just being the one in the background to like make everything sound really good versus like being the face of it, which I still like enjoy, and I still am putting out my own music and stuff too. But there's definitely a little more freedom in some way when I'm working with somebody else, and there's more freedom in other ways too. And it's my own, obviously. But yeah.
Do you use most of your own beats when you're making your own songs?
Oh yeah.
Just all your own beats?
Yeah.
I can understand why.
So as we've seen, not only artists in the hip hop scene blow up, but we have seen a lot of the producer scene in Madison grow. So how has that been for you to see other Madison people like DJ Payne One and Englewood, and Tax Purposes? How does that work into kind of motivating you and maybe challenging you?
Yeah, no, it's great. So like I had mentioned before, when I was going by Frequency, I would do a lot of beat battles, and it was kind of weird because like around Madison, like I'd be in these beat battles and some people would be digging it, but I'd never really like do much. But then I did one beat battle in Milwaukee, the Milltown Beatdown, and people were fucking going nuts. So it's like, I don't know, it seems like you never get the love in your hometown as much as you do when you're like, the foreign entity. And it's like, oh, like where is this guy?
Who's
from?
this guy?
And they're just different than what everybody else was doing, and people really appreciated it. Versus I was doing stuff that was different here, and everybody was like 8 years ago, like 6 to 8 years ago, everybody was much more on this like closed mind thing of like being a few steps behind the mainstream sound or whatever, you know,
Mhm.
like everybody wanted to be like the person that was hot 6 months ago or
Right.
something, you know, and there was this like, that's what the definition of good music and success is like this sound, you know, but like in the last like 5-6 years, the ability to create and the palette of sounds has like just expanded so much across not even just Madison, just like in general, and so it's really like opened the door for a lot more creativity and a lot more originality and uniqueness, and so I feel like that's definitely just the fact that I've like stuck with it so long and like evolved through so many different sounds and like not really ever wanted to, even when I tried to do like the mainstream stuff,
Mhm.
it never really like was the mainstream stuff. It was like my thing, and so now that you know, just sticking at it for so long, now things are starting to happen. So that's cool.
So moving on to our next segment. We're calling it the Google search segment.
All right.
So what we're doing is we're
See
typing
what-
your name into Google, and we're
what
finding a
happens.
photo. Well, we're curious in like what this photo is.
That's
What
I
it came
guess
from.
that's a caption from, I don't know, a while ago. I just tried to start doing like weekly videos and stuff. I think that's just a caption. from one of those
Yeah.
videos.
Screen grab.
Yeah.
How
yeah.
long ago was that?
That was probably 4 years ago,
Ooh.
when I released Fly Away, my EP from a while ago.
I'm impressed that you can just know that off that picture that you
I was really hoping
exactly,
we would
yeah,
get
yeah.
that, so.
You are really
Good.
defending this picture. Good for
Yeah.
you. I was thinking it was just gonna be more like, oh yeah, I don't even know what I was doing.
No, I have a good memory, despite all the reasons why I should have a good memory.
So you were saying that it was like a vlog segment that you were doing?
Yeah, this was to promote my EP Fly Away.
Okay.
Which, by the way, I ended up making it to like number 13 on the College Music Journal charts.
Oh, damn.
So yeah, I was able to meet a lot of people because of that at South by Southwest, and like that has really helped expand my career network as well.
So that face that you guys all just saw, pretty successful.
that went somewhere.
Yeah,
That's his
unfortunate
happy
screen
face.
grab.
That's his I'm 13th.
When I saw that one, I was like, this is such a good one to go with. So now, obviously you progressed from that. You've talked about developing your own sound and how that's moved you as an artist. So where do you go from here? Like what is the next goal in mind, maybe?
So yeah, I'm working on finishing up this project with Rashawn. Also putting together an instrumental project with my buddy Norway, who also did a lot of the production on Shade Trees with me. And then I have a few tracks lined up to be released of my own. And yeah, just so after I finish these, the Somewhere from Nowhere and the project with Norway, I'm planning to move out to New York, at least for a little while, and just work on the network out there. I already have a pretty decent foot in the networking out there. So
Where'd you grow up?
here,
So
Madison.
will this be like your first move out of Madison?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Does that make you anxious or?
Not so much. I mean, it definitely is overdue. Like, I would have moved a couple years ago, but then I started working with Rashawn and Trapo, and that just seemed more, had to have more potential of,
right at the time?
to like, yeah. So, versus like going somewhere else and starting over, I already had 2 people that are starting to make a buzz, so.
What are you looking forward to, and what's one thing you're nervous about moving to New York City?
Honestly, like, the only thing I'm like nervous about moving, I guess, is just like keeping up with the rent. Just because it's expensive out there, everything's expensive. But
Heard that.
at the same time, like, there's a lot of ways to cut your bills and stuff, and like there's just so many people out there that there's like much more of a music economy,
Mm-hmm.
and just much more money just flowing around. So it's
Yeah.
like here, like, sometimes I'll go a week and a half, 2 weeks without anybody coming through the studio, and it's like, damn. And then other times it'll be packed for a month, but then out there's just so many more people, and everybody wants to be a rapper, everybody, and like beyond that too, there's just like, there's a lot more opportunities to just like perform on the street even, like people, like I would got on a train and somebody was playing guitar and his friend was rapping, they passed the hat around, they at least made like $40-$60 just off of one song, and they got on the next car. And then 2 hours later, I was coming back, and I happened to be on the same car.
Yeah.
So like, if they were doing that for like the whole 2 hours, they made like probably $400 or $500 just playing like one or two songs, on the train. Like, there's just so much more. You can't do that here.
Right. That just speaks to the number of people that are there.
Right. There's. I think so. Brooklyn is about
plus no subway system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brooklyn is about the size, like
City
geographically, about the size of Madison, but there's 2.5 million people there versus 250,000 in Madison, and Madison is such a rotating door because of the school. Like it's so ruled by the school.
Yeah. Plus everybody's trying to make it out.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. There's just it like as much as stuff is like grown and like. There's been a lot of like growth, and I hope that there continues to be still a lot of growth here. I feel like it's going to be a long time until it reaches the level of like a bigger city.
I've wondered that too. Well, just all of the talented people that are here, they are going to be gone soon.
Right.
They are going to be moving on, and it's going to be interesting to see like if the crops grow back, like how much. There was a talent boom here for sure, with all the guys that we've had on and all the guys that we all know
I hope
about.
it continues, and I definitely I plan to like keep my hand in the game out here to some extent, even while I'm in New York, and like come back here like every like 4 or 6 weeks or so, and like keep working with the artists that I'm building here, because I'm also about to start a label, and there's like 2 or 3 artists that I have lined up that I think have a lot of potential, and I want to help them grow. And I think the best way for me to do that is to be in New York for the most part and never being out there, but then still having a little influence on the scene here. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's basically like a college team, where it's just it's good to grow and get your feet on the ground, and then go off to the pros somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think Madison can become like a major music hub, like we've seen like Atlanta transform into?
I mean, I just don't think there's enough people. I don't think that. I think that the fact that no building can be taller than the Capitol is like huge. It really is, because like there can never be like as much as the fact that the downtown is like bordered by 2 lakes. Like there's only so much that it can grow. It can't keep growing up very much. It can't like grow north or south. And so it only like spreads things out, and like I feel like for what it like, I feel like it's already like way bigger than it should be, which is like great, and I hope that it keeps that up, and keeps climbing, but like it's definitely already like up for the size of the city and like the general demographics of the city. Like I feel like it's already kind of outperformed the expected.
Yeah, I was gonna say that you are right, that it's kind of sizably challenged, but also I think there's a bit of a cultural challenge for Madison to really break through.
Because the thing is, like, there's the school, and there's all the like talented people coming in from the first wave, but then there's the locals, and it isn't until like the last couple of years with like the younger kids that like things have started to like kind of like mingle with each other, really. And I feel like now that like Trapo has done what he's done, and like that people are having success, that it's kind of like the thing where you don't think something's possible until you see somebody else do it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, why am I'll just do that too,
Yep.
So like I feel like it won't like retract. I feel like it will like keep growing. I feel like it might be like a little bit of a dip because I heard that the first wave isn't gonna they like stopped
Oh, did they really?
just for like a year or two. They like suspended admissions or something.
Interesting.
That sucks.
So I feel like there's gonna be a little bit of a dip, but also like I've met a few high school kids around here that are definitely really passionate and really focused. So hopefully that stays growing, and the more that people I've always said that the more that we all do well, the more we all do well.
Right,
Like,
absolutely.
and the more that we all like, and I think this is great because this is like, just it's showing a community, it's building a culture, which is really like what it's all about, and how any of us can have success is if we all are on each other's teams and all like on, just building that culture.
Nobody wins when the family feuds.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think that's gonna wrap this up for us. We appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Tell the people where they can follow you.
All my social media is Chris LaBella 608. Most active on Instagram, Facebook. I guess I don't really tweet too much. I guess I should. Yeah. Follow me on SoundCloud and Spotify.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for us on the Discover Show. Again, you can follow us on the Discover Show, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Chris LaBella, we appreciate him coming through. We'll be back again next week. Shout out to our audio engineer, Supernova, and the Strange Oasis crew. Peace out, people. Yay! Dope.
Let's get it.
That was pretty good. That was, 20...